We're gonna go ahead and go over the basics of mixing, the math of it, beats, bars, dropping on the one, and how to have a nice clean transition and use math to your benefit. So we know every song's BPM is its beats per minute. That is how quickly the song is going. So what we want to do is really figure out how we can count those beats, what they are, how to identify them, and how that plays into figuring out how to mix two songs. Whatever you're naturally bouncing to, like just let your body kind of flow and feel it, that's the beat. So the really cool thing about almost all music is it's got a mathematical formula to it, which doesn't sound very fun at first, but it's nice to have a formula so that you can kind of figure out the rules, why things are the way they are, and then you can learn how to break those rules or make them your own. Most things in music and most songs that you're going to be DJing are going to be divisible by 4 or exponents of 4. So it'll be 4 beats to every bar. And then there'll be 4 bars or 8 bars or 16 bars, and it'll just all be broken down that way. And you can divide it by as much as you want or multiply it by as much as you want. But as long as you keep the number 4 in your head, you can really get a nice little hack on how to mix songs and sound good. So first thing we're gonna do is listen to the song, and we'll just count out the beats. So now that we know how to count the beats, we want to figure out how we get a bar. So every time we count 1, 2, 3, 4, imagine, okay, we just passed a bar. And we'll count another 1, 2, 3, 4. That's its own bar. So the way that that comes into play in general with DJing is almost all music has different phrases. So one may have a certain instrument playing. There might be a specific vocal in another one. In other songs, we have the chorus or the hook that is one phrase, and that is something that repeats through each song. Each verse in a song is a phrase. If someone's rapping and then a different rapper comes in, those are 2 separate phrases. The introduction to a song, that's a phrase. So the way we can figure out when those phrases are coming up is by counting the bars. And with knowing the bars and knowing the beats, we can anticipate when the music's gonna change. Now that we know how to count the beats, we wanna find the one. So when you're DJing, you want to have the one of song A match up with the one of song B. That's how we get things to play in time, and everything just flows together. You can mix in and out of it. There's no dissonance. There's no crashing. That weird sound when somebody's DJing and they're train wrecking and it sounds just terrible, that's because they didn't match things up. So the one or the beat is going to actually be counting the drum beat most of the time. We find the one, we match up the BPMs, and we make sure that the songs can be playing in time together. So you can hear the beat. I'm gonna scratch it back and forth, and that's basically me having that one right in my hand and having it play and go back and play and go back. So I really wanna keep that one ready to go and ready to release it whenever I want to mix it into this other song. So you can hear that one. It's pretty sharp, it's pretty distinct. Sometimes it might just be that the one is an instrumental. It won't sound like that, but just for simplicity's sake, we'll keep it there. You can see actually on my screen as well, the song waveform is there. And in most DJ software, they will have a beat grid that breaks down the beats and the bars. So you will see bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, bar 4. So right here, this is the one of the 5th bar. So we've had bar 1, 2, 3, 4 done, and now we're starting on bar 5. This is the one of bar 5, and we're gonna continue into this new phrase. So we're just gonna move back and forth between the one, which you can see on my screen here, just so you know what you're hearing. And you wanna make sure that you have the one right at the beginning of that sound, because the timing obviously is very important here. So most importantly, before we even get to scratching along or cueing along or whatever to a new song, before anything happens, you want to make sure that the BPMs and the tempo are matched up. So I'm going to go ahead and use my pitch control here. I can do it any way I want, doesn't matter. They just need to be playing at the same speed here. The song that I have on one of my CDJs over here, I'm going to have it at 72 beats per minute, which means that I need to have the song that I'm about to mix into that song at the same number. So now I can play this and I can count my 1, 2, 3, 4 along and find the one of the song I'm already playing to mix into. So what we did there was we had this song playing, I had my 1, 2, 3, 4, and I anticipated when that one was coming in, and I started 1, 2, 3, 4 on this one. Now I'm going to scratch along to it. It's really preference, whatever you like to do. I personally like scratching. I feel like I have more control. You'll notice I did drop on the 1. You don't need to do that yet. If you want to just keep going back and forth to get comfortable with tapping along on beat with your cue button or scratching along, do that all day. I think it's really important to just get your body into the rhythm of doing that. Another thing that I feel like is really important and a lot of people make mistakes with when they're first learning is they are staring at a screen, or they're just like really like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And they forget that it's music and our bodies naturally have rhythm. So let your body tell you when that one is, when it's coming, when the beat is. Because if you're standing there really stiff and you're like, oh God, I just want to catch that one time, the right timing, you're not going to catch it as well as you would if you were naturally just letting your body get into it. So next thing we're going to practice is actually dropping on the 1. So you notice I did this before. I'm going to scratch along or cue along to the song that's playing, and then on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, I'm going to release. Okay, so we did 1, 2, 3, 4 on the 1, release. We are dropping on the 1. We are dropping our new track in on the 1. Remember, 1, not on the 4. Count 1, 2, 3, 4. Then on that next one, you're ready to let it go. So now we're going to go ahead and do that with a cue. So there's another part of our CDJ or turntables or controller that is really helpful. Sometimes we're human, we're going to be a little bit off. We might be a tiny bit early, a tiny bit behind. Whenever that happens, it's totally okay. We have something called a jog wheel. This will be on whatever piece of equipment you're using, or you'll have the option in whatever app you're using or software. And basically the jog wheel helps us kind of nudge things so that we can speed up the song a tiny bit if we were a bit behind and dropping it. Or if we were a little early, we can slow it down a tiny bit. It's just kind of like scooting it forward, scooting it back if we need to. That way we just kind of eliminate human error and can get things in time if we're a little bit off. I'm gonna actually play this new song a bit slower, and having that a bit slower, I'm gonna have to actually use the jog wheel to keep myself in time with the 1 of the song we are playing. So I'll drop it on the 1, it's gonna start slowing down, scooting back, and I'm gonna just give it a quick nudge to catch it up. I just used my jog wheel, and it helped kind of eliminate my mistake and catch me up and get me in time. And also while you're doing that, if you realize you maybe had the wrong BPM going on, you can just move your pitch control and get it in time. So just a quick recap of what we went over today. It's the basic math of music and how we can figure out what the rules are to song structure and use that to help us mix and have a nice clean transition. So we went over beats, which is what we are counting along to, what we're dancing along to, that natural rhythm that we feel in music. Those are the beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything is divisible by or an exponent of 4. Then we have our bars. There are 4 beats to every 1 bar. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a bar for you. Why that's important when we're mixing is because we want to drop on the 1. So we have our 1, 2, 3, 4 beats and a bar on a song that's already playing, and we want to mix the 1 of the new song in with the 1 of the song that's playing. So dropping on the 1 is honestly the most important rule in my opinion. Using these little exercises are going to help you make your first mix, and what you can use when you're DJing out for the first time. Just remember to drop on the 1, and then you'll have a nice, clean, simple mix no matter what. Your exercise for today to practice at home is play one song, match up the BPM of your new song, scratch your cue along to the beat, count 1, 2, 3, 4 in your head, and drop on the 1.